everyone. We are taking a look at day 2 of equivalent fractions using a model. We're going to start with this visual learning that goes with our program to kind of build background on what we already know.
How can different fractions name the same part of a whole? Think about this question during the lesson. The Chisholm Trail was used to drive cattle to market. Ross's herd has walked 1/2 the distance to market. What is another way to name 1/2? What information does the problem give? What do you need to find?
So we're looking at they've walked 1/2 of the whole mile, so halfway. They want to know another way to represent the fraction 1/2. What's another name for it? So think back to those fraction strips and what we did, and how are we going to use the fraction strips and apply them for equivalent or equal fractions?
The problem states that Ross's herd has walked 1/2 the distance to market. You need to find another way to name 1/2. Different fractions can name the same part of a whole.
I know you can break a whole into lots of different parts.
Fractions that name the same part of a whole are called equivalent fractions. Find the missing values. You can use fraction strips. The fractions 1/2 and 2/4 represent the same part of the whole. 2 1/4 strips are equal to 1/2, so 1/2 equals 2/4. Another name for 1/2 is 2/4. You can find other equivalent fractions. Think about fractions that name the same part of the whole.
So you can see right here, one whole is shown here. So 2 1/2s, 2 halves would be the same as one whole. 1, 2, 3, 4/4 would be the same as one whole, and there's 8 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8/8 would equal one whole. So when we're looking at equivalent fractions, you want to see how do they line up to being equal or the same amount of the whole.
For example, 1/2 equals 4/8. Which fraction is equivalent to 3/4?
Now
Select your answer.
We're looking at what's equivalent. So we can take a look, and these are going to be eighths down below it. Because if I look up, nothing lines up evenly. But if I look down, they do. So there are how many copies of this unit fraction 1/8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to say that 6/8 is equal to 3/4. Let's see if we're right. Nice.
3/4 equals 6/8. Now you know how different fractions can name the same part of a whole.
All right, now you're ready to get started on today's activities. What you're going to be doing is you are going to use what you learned from yesterday and today on equivalent fractions and complete the following slides. If you're completing the slides and you're having trouble, start this video from the beginning and see the visual learning, or you can go on to your Google Classroom from yesterday in math, April 27th, and view that introductory video clip as well. Now you can see I'm just going to flip through. These are very similar to what you saw yesterday. One of the things I do include is the fraction strips because these are the interactive ones. You might like to use them with this slide or when you want to go back and check certain things. Following this activity will be kind of like a quick check, and that is where we're going to be using the Boom cards. When you sign into Boom cards, sign in with your Google account. There won't be a separate sign-in username or password. Sign in with Google. So when you're in here, it says enter a fraction equal to 3/4. So this is an example that I'm showing you. There are 3/4, 1, 2, 3 out of the 4 parts shaded. Now they want to know the equivalent fraction. I can look down and I can see this section is what's equivalent. So how many equal spots are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would be my denominator. And to make it equal, I would have shaded to the same point. So I know that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it would be 6 eighths. 6 eighths. And remember, the bottom number is the denominator, which would total number of equal parts, and the top number would be how many spaces would be shaded to make this equivalent or equal. And you're going to complete the next 10 slides the same way. This was just an example so you know how to write the fraction down here to make them equivalent. Good luck, and this will be a good way for us to see if you understand.